Hello, welcome to my talk. My name is Joseph Mbele. I'm a Tanzanian and I'm retiring from teaching at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I've been teaching here for 35 years in the English department. And I've also been a cultural consultant working with Africans and Americans, primarily helping them to navigate cultural differences. It's been an exciting experience for me. I've made many connections. I've shared a lot of my insights. I've learned a lot from people. I'm excited about all this. I've given talks. I continue to give talks. I've continued to conduct seminars to different audiences here in the USA and in my country. Actually, this year alone, I've already spoken to several audiences. The Richfield Businessmen's Club, there's a town outside of Minneapolis called Richfield. Richfield Businessmen's Club. I spoke there about the challenges of cultural differences if you are a business person, dealing with the suppliers, employees, collaborators, customers from different cultures. It was interesting. I gave a talk to an organization called Habitat for Humanity right here in my town, Northfield. Again, tailoring my presentation to the needs of that organization. They build houses, and so issues of workers in the workplace, workers from different cultures, they build those houses. Issues of people who get into those houses. Again, people from different cultures. Issues of tenants. Issues of how they handle the whole idea of maintaining houses, turning houses into homes. All kinds of things. And one of my points was the concept of home is very much a cultural construct. Home doesn't mean the same thing in different cultures. What a home looks like or should be like, is very much determined by the culture. So it was interesting to tailor my presentation to the work of Habitat for Humanity. I gave another talk to an organization called Kiwanis or Kiwanis. I know Americans have a different way of pronouncing it. Kiwanis, the Northeast Minneapolis branch of this organization. It was very interesting. They deal with children, the welfare of children, they take care of children in the USA and abroad. They do other things as well. And so I talked with them about cultural differences and the challenges that come with that. Anyway, that's what I do, and I'm very excited about it. I've spoken to students who go to Africa, American students going on study abroad programs. I've spoken with people who go as volunteers. preparing them for life in Africa, life with Africans, because we all have our cultural differences. I've enjoyed sharing my knowledge with Africans who are here in the USA. They very much enjoy reading my books or just listening to me talk. I'll talk about the books. But today, I just want to say something I've said before, and the goal is to reach mostly African Americans who are moving to Africa. There is a steady movement of African Americans from the USA, going to Africa. They go to other places as well. And I think about the cultural issues they will face in Africa. Some of them are aware that there will be differences. Some of them do try to take measures to address this issue, but from what I can see, most of them don't even think about this. All they think about is going to a place which is different from the USA, a place where they won't face challenges that they face in the USA, especially racism. And just listening to them, they are excited about going to Africa. Everybody looks like them. They don't have to think of themselves and the color of their skin all the time, or any time at all. So there's that excitement about going to Africa. But I have been concerned about challenges that they will inevitably face, because the fact that we have the same color does not mean we are the same people. African Americans have grown up in a place where they have a different history. The historical experience is so different, and the legacy of slavery and the struggle against racism, the struggle for civil rights, challenges of ongoing racism. These are things that Africans on the continent, don't have in their experience. Basically, they were colonized. There was a lot of racism during colonialism, but the context is different. And the contemporary realities of Africa are very different. So I have been concerned about that, and I wanted to again say something I've said before, which is that I really pay particular attention to the needs of African Americans going to Africa. I already say some things valuable, I think, in my book here, Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. I make references to some of the differences, challenges, and I've done the same or a bit more in this book here, which is a sequel to this one, Chickens in the Bus. There's a whole essay here. It's a collection of little essays. There's a whole essay here titled Being African in America. Being African in America. I make some observations here to highlight the differences between Africans and African Americans. And those differences manifest themselves, wherever we are, whether it's here in the USA or whether it's back in Africa. I have developed a course I've created a cause to help African Americans who go to Africa. I've talked about this on my YouTube channel. I'll have a link to the cause, below this video. And I want to maybe just give some little examples, 2 little examples of the issues that I have in mind. I came to this college, a predominantly white college in Minnesota, southeastern Minnesota, a liberal arts college in a little town, predominantly white town. So one day, some black guy on campus, a black gentleman, was, walking around, and he saw me. Of course, you rarely see black people here. And so he was, curious and excited. And he approached me. We were walking, and I approached him. We greeted each other. We talked a little bit. I told him who I was, Tanzanian, teaching here. And he asked me what the climate was like here. That's the word he used. What's the climate like? Honestly, I did not know what he meant. I didn't know why he was using the word climate. I didn't. I was relatively new here, coming from Tanzania. We speak English, It's not our first language, but I learned English. I didn't know what he meant. He knew exactly what he was asking, and I didn't know what he was asking. It's only later, the longer I stayed here, the more I realized that the word climate has very serious meanings here. He was asking about things, relating to, racial relations. He was asking about, whether I was comfortable here being a person of color, as African Americans say. It's only later, slowly, I began to understand what he was asking. It's a small example, but let me give another example. About a year ago, I came across information from some part of the US. There's a black organization, an African American organization of businesses, entrepreneurs, and people like that. And they are trying to establish a relationship, a presence, in my country. They want to do business in Africa, in my country, to begin with. And the leader of this group, he wrote something about how excited they were. They have gone there, seen the place, enjoyed it very much. It seemed to have a lot of great prospects. And he was appealing to, the Africans there, the Tanzanians. And they mentioned that there were Americans representing diverse companies. He used the word diverse. I was reading this and knowing fully that the Tanzanians wouldn't know what he meant. There's no doubt about it. But the African American knows exactly what they mean when they talk about diverse companies. And I think my listeners here, those of you who are American, how you use the word diverse in this country. But definitely, I knew the Tanzanians listening to this wouldn't know what he was talking about. These are two little examples, but I think they are very significant. They are an index of how communication itself can be a big problem. The language we use, or how we use language, the words we use, the things we intend to say, and whether we are saying them or whether we are communicating. Now, imagine you're an African American or you're an American, you're starting a business in Africa, you're establishing a relationship there, and you have these challenges of just the way you talk, the way you communicate. And beyond the language, there are so many other things: the way you behave, the way you think, the way you act, your expectations, your values, your likes and dislikes. I don't know. It's a very complicated situation. And so I think about all these things, and I have created a course. You can take this course, and it covers a lot of ground, highlights a lot of the challenges. And people who have taken this course, some African Americans have taken the course, and they have sent testimonies. They've written their testimonies about how valuable, this course has been for them. My intention is to share, the link. You'll see this link below this video. It's a very cheap investment compared to, the problems you will face if you don't know those cultural differences. It will cost you time, and you'll suffer frustration. You'll make mistakes. It will frustrate you. It will slow down your business. You might even lose opportunities, simply because you didn't address these issues in advance. If you like, you can actually just start by reading this book here. It will get you started thinking about the issues I raise in the course. This book, and I'll have a link below this video. You can read that book, and it will open your eyes to some of the things, and then you can definitely take the course. There's this book also, a very little book, Chickens in the Bus. I've incorporated these books in the course. And then you can also read some testimonies from people who have taken this course, people who have used, my resources. So that's what I wanted to do for today, and I'm very passionate about it. I know I've done this before, but it was months ago, and the world today is loaded with information. We are all overwhelmed. There's just so much information out there. That's why I thought I should highlight it again after so many months. And I might come back to do this again. And one of the reasons I'm doing it is I read Facebook posts. There are Facebook groups of African Americans in Africa, West Africa, Ghana, especially South Africa, Rwanda, places like that. And from time to time, there's always somebody, some African American, asking about resources or information to help them prepare, before they go to Africa. Or there will be some post about challenges that some of these African Americans are facing over there. And I know for a fact many of these have to do with the cultural differences. And so that's the reason I'm coming out today to talk about, the resources I've created. So once again, look below this video. There's the link to the course, and feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is there as well. That's it for today. Have a nice day.